Marcus Chen wiped the sweat from his forehead as he finished fixing the broken water pipe in Sector 7. The trade station Nexus Prime was always busy, with aliens from dozens of worlds coming and going every day. As a maintenance worker, Marcus saw it all from the background. He kept the lights on, the air clean, and the water flowing while traders made their deals. The job was not exciting, but Marcus liked it. He had been working on Nexus Prime for 3 years now. Most aliens ignored him, which was fine. Humans were still new to the galaxy, and many species did not know what to think of them yet. Marcus packed up his tools and headed toward the lower market district. He needed to grab some food before his next shift started. The lower markets were louder and more crowded than the upper levels. This was where the smaller traders worked, selling everything from strange fruits to glowing crystals. As he walked between the stalls, Marcus heard angry voices ahead. A crowd had formed in a circle, but no one was moving to help. Marcus pushed through the group to see what was happening. In the center of the circle, 3 large aliens in black armor were standing around something small on the ground. Marcus recognized them as Vorthak raiders. They were known across the galaxy for being cruel and violent. The Vorthak were tall with thick gray skin and sharp teeth. Their armor made them look even bigger. On the ground between them was a small alien child. She had pale blue skin that looked like crystal, and she was curled up in a ball. Marcus knew she was Zilani. The Zilani were peaceful people who lived on crystal worlds far from here. This child could not be more than 8 years old. One of the Vorthak soldiers kicked the child with his heavy boot. She cried out in pain, a sound like breaking glass. The crowd watched but did nothing. Marcus felt his hands become fists. "Please stop," the child whispered in broken galactic standard. "I did nothing wrong." "Your people are weak," one of the Vorthak said. His voice was deep and mean. "You deserve to suffer for being so pathetic." Another soldier raised an energy baton. The weapon glowed with blue electricity. Marcus knew that one hit from that weapon could seriously hurt or even kill the small child. Marcus did not think. He just moved. He stepped into the circle and put himself between the child and the soldiers. "Hey," he said. "Leave her alone." The 3 Vorthak turned to look at him. They seemed surprised to see a human. Marcus was not small, but he was still much smaller than the Vorthak soldiers. "A soft skin wants to play hero?" The first soldier laughed. "How cute. Just walk away, little human," the second one said. "This is not your business." Marcus did not move. "She is just a child. Find someone your own size to pick on." The third Vorthak stepped closer. "You think you can stop us? You are just one weak human." "Maybe," Marcus said. "But I'm not moving." The first soldier swung his energy baton at Marcus. Marcus could have dodged, but the child was right behind him. Instead, he took the hit on his shoulder. The electricity burned through his work clothes and into his skin. Pain shot down his arm, but he stayed standing. The crowd gasped. Most aliens would have been knocked out by that hit. "What?" the soldier said. He seemed confused that Marcus was still standing. The second soldier hit Marcus in the stomach with his fist. Marcus bent over but did not fall. He had been in fights before on Earth. He knew how to take a hit. "Stop fighting back and this will hurt less." The third soldier said. "I am not fighting," Marcus said through gritted teeth. "I am just not moving." The soldiers started hitting him from all sides. Energy batons, fists, and kicks rained down on Marcus. Each time they tried to get around him to reach the child, he shifted his body to block them. The child was crying behind him, but she was safe. Marcus felt his lips split open. His ribs started to hurt. Blood ran down his face, but he had been hurt worse than this before. Humans were tough. They could take a lot of damage and keep going. The crowd was getting bigger. Aliens from many different worlds watched as the human took beating after beating but would not give up. Some of them started to look impressed. Others seemed confused. Why would someone suffer like this for a stranger? "Why will you not fall?" one of the Vorthak yelled. He was getting angry that his hits were not working. Marcus spat blood on the ground. "Because someone has to protect her." The soldiers kept hitting him. Marcus lost track of time. His whole body hurt, but he could still hear the child crying behind him. As long as she was safe, he could take more. Finally, station security arrived. The guards were armed and outnumbered the Vorthak. The 3 soldiers stopped hitting Marcus and stepped back. "Move along," the security chief said. "No fighting in the markets." The Vorthak soldiers looked angry, but they could not fight the whole security team. The first soldier pointed at Marcus. "This is not over, human. We will remember you. They walked away, pushing through the crowd. The security guards checked on the child first. She was scared but not badly hurt. Then they turned to Marcus. Marcus was sitting on the ground now. His face was swollen and covered in blood. His clothes were torn and burn marks from the energy batons covered his arms and chest. You need medical help, the security chief said. The kid first, Marcus said. His voice was rough. Make sure she is okay. The Zilani child crawled over to Marcus. Her crystal-like skin was still glowing with fear, but she was not hurt. She looked at him with large purple eyes. Why? She whispered. Why did you help me? Marcus tried to smile, but his face hurt too much. Because someone had to. The medical team arrived and started working on Marcus. As they lifted him onto a stretcher, he could see the crowd still watching. Aliens from dozens of worlds looked at him like he was some kind of strange creature. Maybe he was. Marcus had heard that most alien species did not understand why humans would fight to protect strangers. They thought it was crazy to suffer for someone you did not even know. But as Marcus was carried away to the medical bay, he felt good about what he had done. The child was safe. That was all that mattered. He did not know that security cameras had recorded everything. He did not know that the footage would be sent across the galaxy. He did not know that on a crystal world far away, an ancient queen would watch him take those hits and decide that she had to meet this strange human who could suffer for others. All Marcus knew was that when he saw that child in danger, he had to help. It was just what humans did. Marcus woke up in the medical bay with his whole body feeling like he had been hit by a transport ship. The doctors had fixed the worst of his injuries, but he still hurt everywhere. His face was swollen and his ribs were wrapped tight. A nurse walked over when she saw him awake. She was a Trilaxian with 4 arms and green skin. How do you feel? She asked. Like I got beat up by 3 big aliens, Marcus said. His voice was rough. The nurse looked at his chart. You had broken ribs, burns from energy weapons, and a concussion. Most species would still be unconscious after that much damage. Humans are hard to break, Marcus said. The nurse shook her head. We have never seen anything like what you did. Taking all those hits and not fighting back. The video is all over the galactic net, Marcus groaned. There is video? Security cameras caught the whole thing. It has been shared millions of times already. Every news station in the galaxy is talking about it. Before Marcus could respond, a small voice came from the doorway. Can I come in? It was the Zilani child from the market. She looked much better now. Her crystal skin was bright and clean and she wore a simple blue dress. A woman stood behind her, also Zilani but older. Of course, Marcus said. He tried to sit up but winced when his ribs hurt. The child walked slowly to his bed. I wanted to thank you. My name is Lysa. I am Marcus, he said. You do not need to thank me. I am just glad you are okay. The older woman stepped forward. I am Sira, Lisa's caretaker. We are part of a refugee group from the outer colonies. The Vorthak destroyed our homeworld last year. Marcus felt sad hearing that. I am sorry. That must have been terrible, Sira nodded. We have been moving from station to station, trying to find somewhere safe. Most people just ignore us. No one wants to get involved with refugees. But you helped, Lysa said. Her purple eyes were bright with tears. You got hurt to protect me. I do not understand why. Marcus thought about how to explain it. On my world Earth we have a saying. We protect those who cannot protect themselves. It is just what we do. Lysa tilted her head. But I am not human. We are not the same species. That does not matter, Marcus said. You needed help. I could help. So I did, Sira looked amazed. Your species is very strange, Marcus Chen. Most aliens would never risk themselves for someone they did not know. Over the next few days, Marcus learned more about Lysa and her people. The Zilani were peaceful and gentle. They could feel the emotions of others, which made them very kind but also very weak. When someone was in pain, they felt that pain too. This made it almost impossible for them to fight, even to defend themselves. Lysa visited Marcus every day while he recovered. She was smart and funny, and she asked lots of questions about Earth and humans. Marcus enjoyed talking to her. She reminded him of his little sister back home. Do all humans fight like you? She asked one day. I was not fighting, Marcus said. I was just protecting you. But you took all those hits and did not fall down, and you did not try to hurt them back. Marcus thought about that. Humans can take a lot of damage. We heal fast and we do not give up easy. But the real reason I did not fight back is because it would have made things worse. If I had hit them, they would have been angrier. They might have hurt you to get back at me. Lisa nodded slowly. So you were protecting me by letting them hurt you instead? Something like that. While Marcus recovered, the video of his fight kept spreading. News reports came from all over the galaxy. Some species thought humans were crazy. Others were impressed. A few were scared of what humans might be capable of. The Corthani Republic released a statement saying that humans were dangerously unpredictable. The Vegan Trade Alliance wanted to study human pain tolerance. The Andromedans declared that humans were a species of warriors disguised as civilians. Marcus did not understand what the big deal was. He had just done what felt right. On his 5th day in the medical bay, something strange happened. A ship arrived at Nexus Prime that made everyone stop what they were doing. It was a Zilani diplomatic vessel, but not just any ship. This one was beautiful beyond description, made of living crystal that sang as it moved through space. The ship docked at the VIP section of the station. Important aliens in fancy clothes came out to meet whoever was inside. Marcus watched the news coverage from his bed. "This is incredible," the reporter said. "A royal envoy from the Zilani Empire has arrived at Nexus Prime. No one knows why they are here, but sources say they have requested a meeting with the human Marcus Chen." Marcus stared at the screen. "They want to meet me, why?" Sierra had been visiting when the news came on. Her face went very pale. "Marcus, do you know who the Zilani Empire is?" "Your people, right? The Empire rules over hundreds of worlds. The Queen has been alive for thousands of years. She is the most powerful Zilani in the galaxy." Sierra looked scared. "If she sent an envoy to meet you, this is very serious." An hour later, a group of aliens in fancy robes came to the medical bay. They were Zilani, but different from Lysa and Sierra. Their crystal skin was brighter, and they moved with the confidence of people who were used to being obeyed. The leader stepped forward and bowed to Marcus. "Human Marcus Chen, I am Envoy Thalen. I bring greetings from Her Majesty Queen Thisara, eternal ruler of the Zilani Empire." Marcus tried to sit up straighter. Hello? "The Queen has seen the recordings of your actions in the marketplace. She is most impressed with your courage and sacrifice." "I just helped a kid," Marcus said. "It was not a big deal." The envoy looked surprised. "Not a big deal? You absorbed pain meant for one of our children. In our culture, this creates a debt that cannot be measured. I do not want anything in return," Marcus said quickly. "I was happy to help." "That is precisely why the Queen wishes to meet you," the envoy said. "She has sent me with a royal invitation. You are to come to our homeworld as her personal guest." Marcus looked at Sierra and Lysa. They both looked shocked. "Is this a good thing or a bad thing?" Marcus asked. "The Queen has not invited an alien to the homeworld in over 200 years. Sierra whispered. "This is either a great honor or you are in serious trouble." The envoy smiled. "I assure you, Marcus Chen, the Queen means you no harm. She simply wishes to understand the human who could sacrifice himself for a Zilani child. Your transportation will be ready tomorrow." After the envoy left, Marcus sat in his bed feeling confused. All he had done was protect a child from bullies. Now the most powerful alien in this part of the galaxy wanted to meet him. Lisa took his hand. "Will you come back?" she asked quietly. Marcus squeezed her small hand gently. "I promise I will try." But looking at the fancy ship through his window, Marcus wondered what he was getting himself into. The Zilani ship was unlike anything Marcus had ever seen. From the outside, it looked like a giant crystal floating through space. Inside, the walls were alive with soft light that pulsed like a heartbeat. The corridor seemed to grow rather than being built, with smooth curves that felt organic. Marcus had his own room that was bigger than his entire apartment back on Earth. The walls were transparent crystal that showed the stars outside. When he touched the surface, it became warm and the light inside grew brighter. The crew treated him with strange respect. They bowed when they saw him and brought him food without being asked. Marcus felt uncomfortable with all the attention. He was just a maintenance worker who had helped a kid. The ship's captain was a tall Zilani woman named Visa. Her crystal skin was deep purple, and she moved with grace that made Marcus think of dancing. "How long until we reach your home world?" Marcus asked her on the 2nd day of travel. 3 more days, Visa said. "The Queen is very eager to meet you, Marcus Chen. She has been studying the recordings of your actions repeatedly." "What does she want from me?" Marcus asked. Visa looked thoughtful. I believe she wants to understand you. Your behavior is very confusing to our people. Because I helped a child? Because you chose to suffer when you could have walked away. Because you protected someone who was not your family, not your species, not even your friend. This is not logical to us. Marcus frowned. Do your people not help strangers? We try to, Visa said carefully. But we feel the pain of others as if it were our own. When we see someone suffering, we suffer too. This makes it very difficult for us to act when action might cause more pain. That explained a lot. Marcus had wondered why no one in the crowd had helped Lisa. They were not cruel or cowardly. They literally could not handle the pain of getting involved in violence. So you avoid conflict? Marcus asked. We have to. A Zelani warrior who tries to hurt an enemy will feel that enemy's pain. This makes us very weak in battle. Visa looked sad. This is why the Vorthak and other aggressive species keep taking our worlds. We cannot fight them effectively. Marcus felt sorry for the Zelani. They seemed like good people stuck in a galaxy full of bullies. On the 5th day, they reached Cristera, the Zelani homeworld. Marcus pressed his face to the window as they came down through the atmosphere. The planet looked like someone had covered it with diamonds. Cities rose from the ground like crystal forests. Buildings grew in spirals and curves that seemed to sing in the light of the system's twin suns. Rivers of pure water flowed between the structures and gardens of crystal flowers bloomed everywhere. It is beautiful, Marcus whispered. The Queen will be pleased you think so, Visa said. She designed much of the capital city herself. They landed at a spaceport that looked more like a work of art than a place for ships. Marcus was escorted through corridors filled with Zelani citizens who stopped to stare at him. Word had spread that the human from the video was coming to see the Queen. The royal palace was the most amazing thing Marcus had ever seen. It was built into a mountain of natural crystal that reached up into the clouds. Light flowed through the walls like water, creating patterns that changed as Marcus watched. Guards in ceremonial armor led him through halls filled with singing crystals and floating gardens. Other Zelani lined the path, all wanting to see the human who had done the impossible. Finally, they reached the throne room. The space was so big that Marcus could not see the far walls. The ceiling was open to the sky, and waterfalls of light poured down from crystal formations above. In the center of the room was a throne that seemed to be carved from a single massive gem. On the throne sat Queen Thisera. Marcus had seen pictures of her, but they did not capture how magnificent she really was. She looked young, maybe 30 in human years, but her eyes were ancient. Her crystal skin was silver and gold, refracting light in ways that hurt to look at directly. She wore a crown of living light that moved like fire around her head. Marcus walked slowly toward the throne, not sure what he was supposed to do. Should he bow? Kneel? Salute? When he got close enough to speak, the Queen stood up. She was tall and elegant, moving like liquid light. Marcus Chen of Earth, she said. Her voice was like music. Welcome to Cristera. Marcus cleared his throat. Thank you for inviting me, Your Majesty. Though I am not sure why I am here. The Queen smiled, and the crystal walls around them seemed to glow brighter. You are here because you did something my people believed was impossible. I just helped a child. You absorbed pain that was meant for her. You chose to suffer so that she would not have to. The Queen stepped closer. Do you understand what this means to us? Marcus shook his head. The Queen gestured to the walls around them. Suddenly, the crystal surfaces showed images like television screens. Marcus saw Zelani worlds under attack, cities burning, ships fleeing from larger, more aggressive vessels, families hiding while soldiers searched for them. This is what happens to us, the Queen said. We are losing world after world to species that have no trouble causing pain. The Vorthak, the Korthani, the Iron Fleet. They take our planets because we cannot bring ourselves to fight them effectively. The images changed to show Zelani soldiers in battle. Marcus watched as they hesitated before firing their weapons, as they surrendered rather than hurt their enemies, as they fled when they could have won. When a Zelani warrior tries to hurt someone, they feel that pain themselves, the Queen explained. It is like asking someone to cut off their own hand. Possible, but almost impossible to do. Marcus began to understand. So you need someone who can fight for you. We need someone who can choose to suffer for the right reasons, the Queen corrected. Someone who can take the pain we cannot bear, make the hard choices we cannot make. She waved her hand and the images disappeared. You proved in that marketplace that humans can do this. You felt every blow those soldiers gave you, but you did not stop protecting the child. You chose her safety over your own comfort. Any decent person would have done the same thing, Marcus said. The Queen looked amazed. No, Marcus Chen, most species would not. Most would have calculated the risk and walked away. Some would have fought back and made the situation worse. But you found the perfect path. You protected the innocent without becoming the aggressor. Marcus still did not understand what she wanted from him. What does this mean for me? The Queen returned to her throne and sat down. Her ancient eyes studied Marcus carefully. I want to offer you a position in my service, she said. Not as a soldier or a warrior, but as something more. A protector, a shield for those who cannot shield themselves. I am just a maintenance worker, Marcus said. I fix pipes and clean air filters. I am not qualified to work for a queen. You are qualified in ways that matter more than training or education, the Queen said. You have the heart of a protector. That cannot be taught. Marcus thought about Lysa, still back on Nexus Prime with the other refugees. He thought about all the Zelani worlds being attacked by aggressive species. He thought about families hiding in fear because their protectors could not bring themselves to fight. What exactly would I have to do? He asked. The Queen smiled again. Help me save my people, Marcus Chen. Help me build something that can stand against those who would hurt the innocent. Looking around the beautiful crystal throne room, Marcus realized his life was about to change in ways he could never have imagined. Queen Thisara led Marcus through the palace to a private chamber with walls that showed the stars outside. She gestured for him to sit in a chair that molded itself to fit his body perfectly. The Queen sat across from him, and for a moment she looked less like a ruler and more like someone carrying a heavy burden. Let me tell you a story, she said. 300 years ago, the Zelani Empire controlled over 800 worlds. We were traders, artists, and scientists. Our cities were centers of learning and culture. We believed that peace and understanding could solve any problem. The walls around them began to show images from the past. Marcus saw crystal cities even more beautiful than what he had seen on Crysthera. Ships that looked like flying artwork moved between worlds filled with happy Zelani families. Then the galaxy changed, the Queen continued. New species discovered space travel. Some were peaceful like us, but others were aggressive. They saw our wealth and our weakness, and they decided to take what we had built. The images shifted to show darker scenes, warships attacking crystal cities, explosions tearing through the beautiful buildings, Zelani civilians running in terror. We tried to negotiate. We offered trade agreements, technology, even tribute, but they wanted conquest, not cooperation. And when we finally tried to fight back, the Queen's voice became sad. Marcus watched Zelani soldiers on the screen. They had advanced weapons and ships, but in battle they hesitated. They aimed their weapons but could not pull the trigger. When they did manage to fight, they cried as if they were the ones being hurt. Every enemy we wounded, we felt their pain, the Queen explained. Every ship we destroyed, we mourned for the lives lost. How can you win a war when victory hurts as much as defeat? So you lost more worlds, Marcus said, many worlds. We retreated again and again. Each time we told ourselves it was just a strategic withdrawal. But the truth is we could not bear to do what was necessary to win. The Queen stood up and walked to the window. Outside, Marcus could see the lights of the crystal city stretching to the horizon. I have ruled for over 3,000 years, she said. I have watched my people suffer because of my own weakness. I have the power to order armies into battle, but I cannot order them to overcome their nature. I cannot ask them to stop feeling the pain of others. Marcus was beginning to understand the weight she carried. So what changed? Why are you talking to me now? The Queen turned back to him. Because you showed me something I thought was impossible. A being who could choose to suffer for the right reasons. Who could absorb pain meant for others without becoming bitter or cruel. She waved her hand, and the walls showed the marketplace footage again. Marcus watched himself take hit after hit while protecting Lisa. But this time he saw it from different angles. He could see the faces in the crowd, the amazement and confusion of aliens who had never seen anything like it. My people studied this recording for days, the Queen said. They could not understand how you did it. Not just physically, but mentally. How did you not hate the soldiers who hurt you? How did you not become angry and violent in return? Marcus thought about that. I was angry, but being angry at them would not have helped Lisa. Getting revenge would not have made her safer. Exactly, the Queen said, her eyes lighting up. You separated your feelings from your actions. You felt the anger but did not let it control you. You chose your response based on what would help, not on what you felt. She sat back down and leaned forward. This is what I want to offer you, Marcus Chen. Become my champion, not a general or a warrior, but a protector. Help me build something that can defend the innocent without becoming like those who hurt them. Marcus felt overwhelmed. I do not know anything about being a champion or leading armies. You would not lead armies, the Queen said. You would lead protectors. People like yourself who understand that true strength comes from choosing to bear pain, so others do not have to. She gestured, and the walls showed new images. Humans working alongside Zilani. Training facilities where different species learned together. Ships designed for rescue rather than conquest. I want to create the Shield-Bearer Corps, the Queen explained. A group dedicated to protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Not just Zilani, but any peaceful species threatened by aggressive ones. Marcus studied the images. It looked like something from a dream. You think other humans would join something like this? I have been studying your species since the marketplace incident, the Queen said. Humans are unique in the galaxy. You have the capacity for violence, but also for great compassion. You can make hard choices without losing your humanity. Most importantly, you can take pain and not let it break you. She stood up again and began pacing. Other species either avoid conflict completely or embrace it too much. Humans find a middle path. You fight when you must, protect when you can, and choose mercy when it is possible. Marcus thought about his own people. Earth was not perfect. Humans could be cruel and selfish, but they could also sacrifice everything for strangers. What would you need from me? The Queen stopped pacing and looked at him directly. Be my shield. Let me give you the resources and training to become what the galaxy needs. Help me find and train others like you. Build something that can stand against the darkness without becoming dark itself. And in return, you save lives. You protect families like Lysa's. You give hope to species that have almost given up. The Queen's voice became softer. And you give me the chance to finally be the Queen my people deserve. Marcus stood up and walked to the window. The Crystal City was beautiful, but he could see ships in the distance that looked like they were ready for war. Even here in the heart of the Zilani Empire there was danger. What about Lysa? He asked. She is still a refugee on Nexus Prime. The Queen smiled. If you accept my offer, she and all the other refugees will be brought here. They will have homes and safety. Lysa will receive the best education the Empire can provide. That decided it for Marcus. He turned back to the Queen. If I do this, I do it my way. No hurting innocent people, even enemies. We protect, not conquer. Of course, the Queen agreed. I would not want it any other way. Marcus took a deep breath. Then yes, I will be your shield. The Queen's face lit up with joy and relief. Thank you, Marcus Chen. You have given me something I lost long ago. What is that? Hope. As if summoned by their conversation, the chamber doors opened. Envoy Thalen entered with a group of Zilani officials. Behind them came someone Marcus had not expected to see. Marcus! Lisa ran across the room and hugged him tightly. She had been brought to Crysthera along with the other refugees. I thought you were still on the station, Marcus said, hugging her back. The Queen sent ships to bring us all here, Lysa said. She said you were going to help protect people and she wanted me to ask you something. Marcus looked at the Queen, who was smiling. What did you want to ask? Lysa looked up at him with her bright purple eyes. Will you teach me to be brave like you? Marcus looked around the room, at the ancient Queen who had carried her people's burden for thousands of years, at the officials who looked at him with hope and respect, at the little girl who had survived the destruction of her world and still wanted to help others. I will teach you everything I know, he promised. The Queen stepped forward. Then let us begin building something the galaxy has never seen before. Something that protects the light without becoming darkness. Marcus felt the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders, but also the warmth of purpose. For the first time since leaving Earth, he felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. 6 months after accepting the Queen's offer, Marcus stood in the training grounds of the new Shield-Bearer Academy. The facility was built into a crystal mountain outside the capital city, with practice rooms, classrooms, and living quarters for cadets from a dozen different species. Marcus wore new armor that the Zilani had designed specifically for him. It was made from living crystal that could absorb and redirect energy attacks. The armor was light but incredibly strong, and it grew stronger as Marcus wore it, learning to protect him better. But the real change was not in what he wore. It was in who he had become. "Remember," Marcus called out to the group of new recruits practicing in the yard below, "you are shields, not swords. Your job is to protect, not to destroy." Among the trainees were humans who had volunteered after hearing about the Corps, Zalani who wanted to overcome their fear of conflict, and even a few reformed pirates who had decided they wanted to use their skills for good instead of profit. Lisa, now taller and more confident, was training with a group learning rescue techniques. She had become one of the best students in the academy, her natural empathic abilities making her perfect for understanding when people were in danger. "Marcus," she called out, running over to him. "The Queen wants to see you. She says it is urgent." Marcus nodded and made his way to the command center deep inside the mountain. The Queen spent most of her time there now, coordinating the growing network of shield-bearer units across the galaxy. He found her standing in front of a massive holographic display, showing star charts. Her expression was serious. "What is the situation?" Marcus asked. The Queen pointed to a section of space near the outer rim. "Long-range scouts have detected a massive Vorthak fleet heading for the Andros system. 3 billion civilians, mostly refugees from previous attacks. The local defense force will not be able to stop them." Marcus studied the display. The Vorthak had been getting bolder lately, launching larger attacks on peaceful worlds. This looked like their biggest operation yet. "How long until they arrive?" he asked. 18 hours, the Queen said. "I have 3 Zalani defense fleets in the area, but you know how effective they will be against the Vorthak." Marcus knew. Zalani ships were advanced and powerful, but their crews would hesitate at crucial moments. They might delay the Vorthak, but they could not win. "What about the shield bearers?" Marcus asked. The Queen brought up another display. "We have 4 ships ready for deployment. 200 trained operatives, including 50 humans. It is not enough to fight the entire Vorthak fleet directly." Marcus nodded, thinking. In 6 months they had built something amazing, but it was still small compared to the galaxy's problems. They needed a different approach. "We do not fight the fleet," he said. "We protect the civilians." "How many transport ships are available for evacuation?" "Evacuation will take days," the Queen said. "The Vorthak will be there in hours." "Then we buy time," Marcus said. "The Zalani fleets delay the Vorthak while we evacuate as many people as possible. The shield bearers provide cover for the transports." The Queen looked worried. "Marcus, the Vorthak fleet is enormous. Even with your people helping, the Zalani crews will not be able to hold them for long." Marcus thought about all the training sessions, all the volunteers who had joined the shield bearers because they believed in protecting others. He thought about Lisa and the other refugees who were now safe because someone had been willing to stand up for them. "Trust me," he said. "We have something the Vorthak do not expect." 3 hours later, Marcus was aboard the flagship of the Zalani Defense Fleet. He had insisted on being present for the battle, not to command the ships, but to coordinate the shield-bearer units and provide support to the Zalani crews. When the Vorthak fleet dropped out of hyperspace, it was even larger than the reports had suggested. Over 300 warships, including massive dreadnoughts that could destroy entire cities. The Vorthak commander sent a message to the Zalani fleet. "Surrender now, and we will let your crews live as slaves. Resist, and we will kill everyone on the planet below." Admiral Zessa, the Zalani fleet commander, looked at Marcus. "What do we do?" she asked. Marcus could see the fear in her crystalline features. Like all Zalani, the thought of causing pain terrified her. "We do what we trained for," Marcus said calmly. "We protect those who cannot protect themselves." The battle began badly for the Zalani. Despite having good ships and weapons, their crews hesitated at critical moments. They fired warning shots instead of killing blows. They tried to disable enemy ships instead of destroying them. But then something unexpected happened. Marcus and his shield bearers began broadcasting on all frequencies, speaking directly to the Zalani crews. "Remember why you are here," Marcus said. "Remember the families below. Remember that sometimes the only way to protect the innocent is to stop those who would hurt them." The shield-bearer ships moved between the Zalani vessels and the Vorthak, taking the heaviest fire. Marcus watched his people absorb massive damage, their crystal armor glowing as it redirected energy blasts away from the more fragile Zalani ships. "For every shot you cannot take, we will take it for you," Marcus broadcast. Fight with everything you have. We will handle the pain. Something changed in the Zilani crews. Seeing the humans willingly absorb punishment meant for them, seeing Marcus and his people act as living shields for their fleet, they found courage they did not know they had. Admiral Zessa was the first to fire a killing shot, destroying a Vorthak cruiser that had been targeting a civilian transport. Tears ran down her crystal face as she felt the deaths of the enemy crew, but she did not hesitate to fire again. The battle turned. The Zilani fleet, protected and inspired by the shield-bearer ships, fought with effectiveness that shocked the Vorthak. Enemy ships began to retreat as the Vorthak realized this was not the easy victory they had expected. But the real victory was happening on the planet below. While the space battle raged, shield-bearer rescue teams evacuated millions of civilians to safety. They worked tirelessly, loading transport after transport with refugees, protecting the ships as they escaped to safer systems. When the Vorthak finally retreated, over 90% of the civilian population had been saved. Marcus returned to Crysthera bruised and exhausted but victorious. The Queen met him in the palace gardens where Lysa and the other trainees were waiting. "The galaxy is talking about what happened at Andros," the Queen said. "Not just the battle, but the evacuation. Species across known space are requesting shield-bearer protection." Marcus sat down heavily on a crystal bench. "We saved them this time. But there are so many more worlds in danger, so many more people who need protection." Lisa sat down next to him. She was 16 now, almost ready to graduate from the academy. "That is why we keep training, why we keep growing. Every person we save can become someone who saves others." Marcus looked at her with pride. "When did you become so wise?" "I had a good teacher," she said with a smile. "Someone who taught me that the strongest thing you can do is choose to suffer so others do not have to." The Queen approached them. "I have received messages from the leaders of 47 different species. They want to create a formal alliance, a galactic protection accord, with the shield bearers as its enforcement arm." Marcus felt the weight of responsibility, but also the warmth of hope. They had started with one man protecting one child in a marketplace. Now they were talking about protecting entire civilizations. "It will not be easy," he said. "There are aggressive species all over the galaxy. Pirates, slavers, conquerors. We cannot save everyone." "No," the Queen agreed, "but we can save some. And those we save can help us save others." The light spreads, Marcus. Hope grows. Marcus stood up and looked out at the Crystal City. In the distance, he could see ships landing at the spaceport. Volunteers from dozens of worlds coming to join the shield bearers. Former soldiers who wanted to protect instead of conquer. Refugees who had been saved and now wanted to save others. "Lisa," he said, "are you ready for your first real mission?" She stood up straight, her crystal skin glowing with determination. "I have been ready since the day you saved me in that marketplace." Marcus smiled. "Then let us go save the galaxy one person at a time." As they walked back toward the academy, Marcus thought about how far they had all come. He was no longer just a maintenance worker who had helped a child. He was the shield of the crown, protector of the innocent, leader of the greatest rescue organization the galaxy had ever seen. But in his heart, he was still just someone who believed that when people needed help, you helped them. It was just what you did. The stars above Crysthera shone bright with possibility, and Marcus knew their light would reach every corner of the galaxy where darkness threatened the innocent. Because now finally someone was standing in the way. Someone had to.